Good evening everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Districts, and a happy Easter to you all. And today I have three parts in one video. It promises to be a pretty long video, but basically there is a lot to show you and a lot to talk to you, because it is pretty much a mega update. And I don't use those words lightly because it is a pretty mega update. So the first part of it is to show you the layout as it is and the update on it. The second part is going to be to show you a few components and things that have arrived on the layout. And then the third part, which can be quite intriguing, is going to be train memorabilia. And that's mainly brought on by Lee Wall, who's doing his rendition of Upminster Station. And I popped into Alan from Dragon Johnson's chat on Thursday, I think it was, whatever day it was, I think it was Thursday. And Lee was in the chat, and I had a little chat to him about some destock memorabilia. And so I'm going to show him a little bit of that, well, show you guys a bit of that for those who haven't seen it, and also some other bits of train memorabilia that I have here also. And it kind of goes to show you how kind of train mad I am, I guess. And I live with trains, quite literally. This flat is literally, I live with trains. So, like I said, we're going to spin you around and then we're going to get straight on, because this is going to be a really long video. So sit back, enjoy and relax, and have your favourite beverage to hand. And like I said, we'll just get on with the update. So, ladies and gents, this is what I've done. Basically, I've taken a chunk size bite out of my original layout. So I'm just going to quickly give you a quick pan round, and then we'll go into a bit more detail into what I've done. There you go, just so you can see what I've done. So this end here is still the original part of the layout. So this is Chaston Road, and it's from then onwards. My original plan was to originally, when I first talked about doing the rebuild, in terms of I was actually just supposed to I was just supposed to do the TMD area and give that a slight refurb. That was all I was going to do. I was literally just going to do the refurb along that back piece there, on the windowsill, and refurb the building that was there. But then I kind of got into a conversation with Alan about my container train. And we were talking about the lengths of the container trains and everything like that. And then it got me to thinking it would be so much more easier if the container train was over at that end, because that is the longest part of the layout. Because where it was before on the right, although the container terminal looked great, I couldn't get the length from the train. Here at this back wall, I can. So, and I'd always had a problem with the layout, because originally when I built the layout, it was just supposed to be a little roundy, and that was it. And then it's obviously migrated around the flat. But then it was always taking up quite a lot of room, and I wanted some of that space back. And also I had trouble trying to work out how I was going to utilise the space underneath the layout. So the decision was made that I thought to myself, well, and then the other thing was the gas man, which we all know and love. That I was telling you about. They wanted to have a look at the hatch there and there. So the idea was, I was thinking, well, there's no point me doing this and refreshing this for then me to change it in any case later on down the line. So whilst this is in a bit of a state, I might as well just do what I want to do once and for all. And so what I've done is I've essentially just taken a bite out of the layout, because basically it used to go straight across there and then back round, but now it kind of goes up and then back round. So this was kind of the main reason for me doing it was A, I wanted to get some of my space back, and B, I was never too happy with the framework underneath that part of the layout, and I always felt it was a little bit rickety. And I was thinking that maybe one day I might come unstuck with it. So I thought, well, I'm going to make my life easier and future-proof the layout a bit more by doing it this way. And so what I've done is, and I did mention this before, this is essentially going to be like the back bedroom, where I've kind of got the return loop that goes back round. I've got the fascia board, and what I'm going to do is the underneath that you can see, all this framework you can see, is going to be tidied up and draped in the skirt like I do in the back bedroom. And this will just make it so much more tidier. And also the radiator is nicely framed, it's nicely dressed. And also the window is also nicely dressed as well. And that also has lighting which goes into the layout. Now I'm going to switch some lighting on so you can see it as it is. So bear with me a minute. So this is currently with all the lighting off. There is no additional lighting in the lounge at the moment. I haven't made it to the main layout yet. Although, as I'll explain it to you, two of the buildings have got lighting, and so is the platform, but they're not wired in. So, but I'll explain it to you as I get there. But right now, you've kind of got this really nice strip lighting, down lighting, which has got this nice glow to the layout, and giving it some additional light. And then obviously you've still got the lighting from Chaston Road Station, and also the lighting right in the corner. So once this is all done and dusted, this whole layout will be nicely lit. Now, before I switch the lights on, I just thought I'd sort of show it to you a bit closer up in the dark so you can get a better view of how it looks. So there's no actual, all the lighting that was on the container yard, there isn't any here. It's just purely the lighting that's come up from the strip lighting which is coming from underneath the pelmet, which I done, and that is done through the strip lighting that you get on the rolls, and that's 12 volts, and I've connected it to a multi-voltage transformer. So this is Chaston Road, as we know, Chaston Road Station. So at the moment, excuse the shadows, the container terminal is living over here, which is actually a big benefit for me, because then I can actually lift this bit on the windowsill out without having to lift out track work and all the rest of it. So that's pretty cool. I'm really pleased with that. I'm just going to add some additional lighting here actually. That makes it look probably a little bit better. I haven't done any of the line painting or anything yet, but I've just sort of carefully placed stuff on here. I haven't particularly placed anything. Now, the line where the container train is the one and only line that's going to be for the container terminal. It was going to be two, excuse me, but I've had to make a bit of a compromise with that and make that just one, but just have one long train, which is fine with me, because I can have one coming from one end whilst this one is here, and then when this one's going out, the other one can be coming in, so it's not really going to be a big deal. I was going to have it as two lines, but as it turns out, I needed to have the second that second line in operation as a bypass line, and also to get onto the other side of the platform at Mildenhall Riverside. So, but we'll move on to that as we get there. So basically here in total there are 5 tracks. This one is a bypass. This is like a loop track. And this is basically used as a bidirectional for the TMD. So basically a train could come into this loop. Maybe there might be another train passing by, which they can use this next line across. And then this can then reverse back towards the TMD, the wagon works and all the rest of it. And then these two are the 2 lines that go to Mildenhall Riverside. Now, once again, I've addressed all of this with my usual fascia technique and This is in its customary blue South West Trains paint. This is cut with my jigsaw, also done with my, I was using my jigsaw, and also hardboard. That was what I wanted to say, that we're using hardboard. And and that curves, as you can see, really tightly around this curve. Now, a little word on my stool. This is something I bought to go with my newfound layout. Basically, if I just zoom you out, it's a really lovely stool. And basically, what my plan was to have trains running, for example, all the way around the flat. But I could be sitting here and I could be either messing around with the container terminal, or I could be messing around with the wagon works and be sitting there operating, and sort of have a train or two running in the background as automation. And I'm basically playing with my train and trying to feed them in and out through the two trains that are currently running. This stool is a bar stool. I did try my chair, which I had before in my bedroom, but that sat too low, so my height was too low, and it only gave me the same height as the track level. And I wanted a stool or a chair that was higher, was at the same height as the layout, but higher as well, so I could oversee the layout. So the way around it was to get this stool, and I love this stool. It didn't cost me a huge amount of money. It's in orange because I do like the colour orange, and it also goes with the South West Trains colour scheme. So again, I live with trains, so that's how it is. That this is part of living with trains, is having my furniture and everything sort of tying in with everything. There will be some additional signage and decals to go on, but we still haven't got there yet. And also, you'll see that the layout and the links are really nicely tucked away, because down the bottom there is the link that goes across Goswell sidings to the bedroom, and then on here you've got the corner piece that goes around the corner into the bedroom, and then this is the other link which sits here and lives here, which goes across from the main living area to Goswell sidings. So it's all nicely tucked away when it's not in use, and then once the curtain is down and in, it will all just be hidden, and it'll just be all nice and tidy. At the moment, I haven't actually got the the fabric to actually do that at the moment, but I'm waiting to get that. So that's another thing, that once that comes in, it will all be dressed and it'll all look really nice and smart and tidy. At the moment, it still looks a bit messy. So here, at this point here, is where my Digitrax system is. At the moment, it's where it seems to be living. And it's still connected in the same way via the LNWI, which is the Wi-Fi, and also through the Loconet cable. And this is also where the two ends join the layout together. So that line that you see there, to the right, is what actually now moves into the centre of the living area for when the gas man comes, and all the rest of it to the left now is all become permanent. So the only thing that needs to be moved when he comes over next, is if I zoom out a bit, is just, is going to be from that bit there, just that section there. That's the only bit that now moves. So it's going to be a lot easier for me to manage in moving it out. And it's going to be a lot easier to put to one side when he comes over. And if this needs to be moved or me to work on, it's a lot easier for me to move. So all I have to do is unplug that and undo the bolts underneath, and that's it. It will separate, and it's all on wheels as per usual. So at this point is really where the Scenics sort of start, and then obviously I've still got to do the ballasting over on this side where the container terminal is. But what I wanted to do is just to try and, for me, I need to visualize what I'm doing. So I need to put things down, track down, and Scenics down in order to get an idea of what I'm doing to see if I'm happy with it. So the scenery starts from here. The two outer tracks are to feed into Mildenhall Riverside Station, which you have here. And then basically Mildenhall Station is the island platform. It has the lighting already pre-fitted. It is old existing Hornby platforms which snap together, but they've been glue gunned together so they won't go anywhere. And also what I've also done is I've also used sticky pads underneath and cable ties to have one continuous wire that goes from the back all the way to the front, and then bunched at the front to drop down so it goes into one plug to be connected as one whole unit. So this makes it a lot more easier to manage. So if I need to lift the platform out, I can just lift the platform out. And then it's got two platforms, which is platform 1 and 2, which is the one on the other side and this one. And basically what I did with this is I extended it originally. I actually had a point that came across here, but I didn't like it, so I've just taken that out. So what I needed to do originally was actually to make this back part of the platform slightly longer. So if I take you in, you can see it's slightly longer. And what I did is with the Dremel, I sliced the ramp in the middle in half, and then basically slotted in a piece of card, and then added a plastic card, and basically made it longer on one side using the whole snap fit. So it didn't actually, so it's still blended in together properly. So if you go follow the two outer lines, they will eventually bring you round and back round the buildings, and then they will come back to these two lines. So that will be the inner, that will be the outer, and then it will feed into this freeway point, and then it goes back out the layout through here and then back out. So that's how that works. So now if we take you into the centre of the layout, you can see that the old TMD still lives on. It's been refurbed. It's had lighting put in, strip lighting put in. As you can probably see, there's a plug on the top. So that's ready to be plugged in underneath when I get round to doing it. But because I'm still doing some scenery work, which is why I haven't done it yet. But it's been covered in plastic card. It was stripped of all its paper, covered in plastic card, put some lighting in it. All it needs now is the signage to be put on that, and then that will be more or less ready to go. And as you can see, there's three lines here to feed the engine shed, but there's also a fourth one for South West Trains. So, and then afterwards, where the turbo is, the 170, that's the fifth one. Because I've got two Bachmann 450s, so they'll go in there or there. And the 159 can either go there or there. And because I've also got a Hornby South West Trains VEP on order, so I need to give it a place to live. So that's the reason why I needed the extra spot. If we look at some of the other buildings, we have this building which I made as part of the Susanna's Come Build With Me. So if you're interested on how I made that, there is a video on how I did that. It's under the Susanna's Come Build With Me. And then my latest building, which is nowhere near finished, and I'll take you over for a closer look. So this is my new Wagon Works, and it's to work in conjunction with this Freightliner building because they're essentially the same colour, the same shape, the same style. And this one was, I can't remember where this one is. Both of these buildings were based on actual buildings. I know that this one here was based on the vehicle maintenance facility at Guide Bridge in Manchester. And basically it works as a Wagon Works. That's the whole plan of it. That's what I'm using it for. I've got the signage for it. Again, it isn't anywhere near finished because the interior hasn't been done. The roof lights haven't been completed. There isn't any lighting in it. And also the openings also need to be dealt with as well. But obviously the structure is there and the building is there ready to look at. So this is the building from the back side. And as you can see, it's a very plain building. There's nothing overly exciting about this building, but it does work. And it's exactly based, it's based on the vehicle maintenance facility at Guidebridge in Manchester, Freightliner. So if you look that up, you'll actually see that there is some similarities to it. And but like I said, it's not a carbon copy by any stretch of the imagination. Also, I'm just going to move the Eddie Stobart lorry to show you one of my new acquisitions, and this is an Oxford die-cast forklift. I did have some Base Toys ones, but they looked a bit kind of how shall I say it? They looked out of scale. They didn't look like the right size. They looked way too small to do anything. This is kind of look a bit more of a heavy duty kind of forklift. So I bought that with the intention of putting it for this building. I put some crash barriers in. Crash barriers are basically it's old sections of track and basically soldered together and created my own crash barriers. And I did that for nothing. That cost me absolutely nothing. Nice little project. One of the things that I like about it is that the contrasting colours, because you've got the green of the grass, you've got the red of the buffer stops and the yellow of the safety barriers. Now, these buffer stops are not Acura scale ones. The only one that's Acura scale is that one over there, and I do not recommend them at all. They are horrible, and they look nice, but as far as functioning goes, they do not function, and I will show you right now the difference. So this is an Acura scale buffer stop. It looks really nice, but it's no good. I don't recommend these. They don't sit on the track properly, and you've got to pretty much glue them onto the track for them to stay where they are. But I don't like to glue these things because you never know when you might need that bit of track, and then in the end, you know, it's all stuck together and you break the buffer stop, you can't reuse it. And that's the main reason, is I just want to be able to reuse it. But as you can see, these grooves are too shallow and they don't sit on the track properly. And I've already broken this bar here in the middle on one of them because it was so flimsy. It really is really flimsy. Absolutely useless, these things are. They look nice, but they don't sit on the track properly, and they're too flimsy. So I don't like those. All of these are from a company called 3D Resin Printed Railways, which is where I got my rail grinding machine and my rail vac from. Now, unfortunately, he since went bust. And when I bought these, I'd bought a few of these at the Aldershot exhibition. But recently, at the Basingstoke one, and this is probably going back about 6 weeks now, I was at the Basingstoke show, and lo and behold, he was still selling off some stock that he had, and he had these buffers, and basically I bought every single pack that he had left because I knew I was going to need it. And this is them. These come in grey. 3D, it comes in grey, and you have to prime them and paint them yourself, but to me that's fine. But then again, it gives you the option to paint them in whatever colour you like. But you can see how these have got deep grooves all the way through, and you can see that the Acura scale ones do not. They've just got these little pads, and they're shallow, and they don't even sit properly. I mean, you can barely even notice it, to be honest. And you know, as soon as a train knocks into this just pings off. Unless you glue it, you have to glue it, otherwise it doesn't sit properly. And like I said, they're too flimsy. These have got some nice grooves to it, almost like skis. And you can see that this isn't going anywhere. This is like strong and it's chunky and it's like made well. And they sit on the track straight away like that. And that's fine. They sit on there like, and they don't, like if I go from left to right, it doesn't go or anything. And you can put a bit of PVA and that would be fine. But if you put you put the Curoscal one on, it just, you find it so difficult. I absolutely hate these. Luckily for me, Danny kindly gave me a pack of 2 to try them, and because I was going to buy them myself because everyone's been raving about them, but they really aren't worth the money, in my view anyway. I won't buy any more, not the Curoscal ones. I think there are a few other people on eBay that sell these 3D resin printed buffer stops. So I would always buy them. Anyway, moving on. That's my little go at these Curoscal buffer stops, but it has to be said, they are rubbish. They're not fit for purpose. Look nice, but they don't work. So from this end of the layout, you kind of get a good view of how the track plan is laid. And I said on Alan's live stream that I spent pretty much 200 quid's worth of track just on this section alone. And it's true, you can see it all through all the various points and things, but there is a reason. There always has to be a reason on my layout for things. And basically, you've got the 2 running lines that run on the outside, either side of the island platform, and they go round and round and back out. So they go towards the end there and back out. You've got the passing loop, which I showed you earlier, and that basically gives you a chance to put the train out of the way, and then you can reverse the train into the TMD or the wagon works. Now the idea is that the shunter down the end, which is the 08, but I have allowed enough space to use not a Coco but a Bobo diesel, so you can use something like a 73 or a 20 to do some shunting. And basically, the shunter can bring 3 wagons along this line here, drop them off here on this line, come to the head shunt, bypass the 3 wagons, back to the head shunt over there, and then basically come back and pick up the wagons from the other end and drop them into the wagon works. From this end, once again, you can see how it works. I did test it with both the 20 and with my little 08 shunter. And basically, like I said, the 08 could bring 3 wagons along here, and it would be facing, the wagons would be in front of the 08 here, so it would be pulling from this side, go over to the head shunt, run round, back out to here, reverse onto the wagons from this end, bring them into the head shunt and drop them off like that. So you can do some shunting on this layout if you want to. And I found myself actually quite enjoying that, just sitting here, just messing around without needing to have the full layout operational. I can have half the layout operational and have just as much fun. And here we've got the 70 parked up where the locomotive shop is, and that is accessed through this 3-way point. And there is an additional siding here for stabling should you need it. From this view, you get a better view of the passing loop that we have going on the bottom here. So if you want to go into the TMD or the wagon works, a train could come in, go into this passing loop, and then just sit there. And there might be another train on behind it, which they can use to pass it. And then once that's free, they can then back into the TMD or the wagon works or whatever. Similarly, the 70, dropping off the containers, you might want to do a loco change. That could be unhooked here, go around, go into the stabling point, and then we'll bring out another loco that's stabled or whatever, that's in the shop or whatever, to take it onwards back towards the other end of the layout. So currently I'm just sitting on my new stool, and the reason is I just wanted to explain to you that when I first, it's funny how tastes change. I started off with Behringer, my original layout, and that was a C-shape layout which ran across the flat. Same principle as this, except it wasn't a roundy because it couldn't go back on itself. And I liked that, and I really enjoyed it, but it was an end-to-end, and I kind of wanted a continuous run. Then I went to, moved to Sheffield on Loddon, and I had Ringwood South, and Ringwood South was this kind of based on an end-to-end, and it was like about 8 foot long or 12 foot long, something like that, by about 2 feet. And it was basically a preservation line type thing where anything kind of went. And I enjoyed that, but it was kind of, I got a bit bored of it. So when I moved here, and I had the original roundy at the front here, I liked it, but it wasn't enough, because I soon got bored of that too, because it was only just literally just go around at 30 seconds and it was done. At 30 seconds it was done. 30 seconds it was done. It was just, and it just, I didn't get as much enjoyment out of that as I'd hoped. So I found that what I really wanted from a layout was I wanted a bit of everything, and it's that kind of just in case scenario, and it's like having a contingency plan for your model railway. It's kind of that kind of thing, because what I've now done with this is I've future-proofed it a little bit, because I do find myself now, like I said, I wasn't really a shunting person, to be honest. But I have seen a lot of American stuff, and like I said, I've always, throughout my whole layouts, all of my layouts, I like the sense of journey, the sense of purpose, that locomotives have got a reason for being there. They're on their way to do something, and that's how it is. It isn't just a case of the train goes round and round and round and round and round. Which is fine if you're happy with that, but I wasn't really happy with that. Like I said, I like the sense of purpose, that the trains were going from A to B for a reason. And that's why I've tried to incorporate some additional shunting and features that will allow me to have more fun from the railway. So I've got the container terminal here, which is now here, which is better suited here. So I can still run my container train. I haven't lost that. In fact, I've gained a lot more, because what I have gained is the wagon works and the TMD. And the loco works, which I sort of crammed in that corner, but I didn't like it. So we've now got that. So there's things to do. We've got stations, so we've got trains have to go to stations, serve stations. We've got Goswell sidings, so you can drop off some wagons when they're not being used, if you wanted to do that. We have the quarry, so the stone trains have got somewhere to go. And it's just to give the trains something to do. So it isn't just necessarily from A to B. Sorry, just going round and round the loop, and then it just goes back into staging or fiddle yard, whichever way around you want to call it. And like I said, I've been watching a lot of American stuff, and as I've been watching a lot of American stuff, I've been taking a lot of inspiration from American modelers and how they do things, stuff like the fascia, the stuff of the way that they like to do operating sessions with other people to make it more fun and more enjoyable, which is something that I'd quite like the idea of. Also to have trained, they've got a sense of purpose, and they've also got businesses and things that they sort of have to service with their freight locomotives and things, and that's something I wanted to bring here. So I'm really pleased that I've managed to, like I said, if we just sort of spin you into here, you can see that we've managed to fit in quite a bit. This all needs to be ballasted, by the way, but like I said, I've got the loco works here, I've got the engine shed, so they've got somewhere to live and sleep, and we've got the wagon works over there, so we can have fun shunting wagons around if we want to do that, if I feel like that. I've also got the shunting opportunities over at Goswell Sidings, which again got, and also shunting opportunities over at Arklow Quarry. So if there's other people helping me, whoever's at the front has got things to do, and whoever's at the back have got things to do too. I just wanted to also make this look overgrown as an overgrown area. I haven't, like I said, I haven't ballasted it, it's nowhere near finished, but we're starting to get there. So this now leads me onto some of the things that I've purchased for the layout. And there's no locos or sound chips or anything like that. But what I did want to show you, I haven't installed it yet, it's something that I need to install, but I've bought this. This is a product from DCC Concepts. And basically it is called the DCC LSP Surge Protector is what it's called. So why did I buy this? Well, the reason why I bought this is basically I have been having issues with surging on the layout. And basically what I mean by that is when I've had shorts with either derailments or something or other, the surge sends a spike somewhere down the line. And I've had this happen to me a few times where there's trains at the other end of the layout which the sound's gone. It starts up and I haven't set, it's not even set. And TTS locomotives happen to be kind of like the worst offenders, to be honest, but I have had this happen to me with my Legoman Biff 059, where I had a short at this end of the layout and my 59 is over there and it suddenly started up because it sent a surge over there. It sent a miscellaneous spike. So the idea of this is to remove all that. And this is like a little circuit board. And I'll quickly show it to you because I'll take it out and you can see it. I haven't, like I said, I haven't fitted it in. So it comes with a little bag of screws. And you've got this little, I think it's like that. There you go. I'll just show it to you like that. And basically it's a very easy install. It probably takes you about 5 minutes, I guess. These two, there's an input and there's an output. The input comes from your controller and the output goes out to your rails and that's it. And then all these chips and gadgets and all sorts, whatever, all the tech that's in here takes care of everything else. So that's all you have to do. And that should eliminate any surging problems that I have with the layout. So when there is a short on the layout, it's not going to, hopefully not going to affect any of the other locomotives, because the surge should be ironed out between this point before it gets to that point via the components in the middle. So hopefully that's the theory behind that, and I'm looking forward to testing that out. The other thing that has turned up on the layout is this. This is a static grass applicator. Now, as you can see, I've been doing some static grass here using this. Because, like I said, I wanted to make this like an overgrown, unkept area, and I have taken some reference photos and seen some reference material. If I remember to put a photograph in, I will put in a photograph here just so you can see, and so you can sort of see what I was going for. And like I said, I haven't finished this yet by any stretch of the imagination, but it will give you a rough idea of what I was looking for. So in this box, I'll show you what you get in this box. Now these two bags I bought, so I won't show you those because that's not part of the kit. But what you do get is you get a brush, and this is basically so you can paint your PVA or basing glue or whatever you use, according to Pico. Because I've seen a number of videos on static grass applicators on YouTube, so I have done a little bit of research on it, and Pico do recommend using the basing glue. To me, it looks like PVA. I know a lot of people use PVA, and I did ask Paul at my local model shop about basing glue and the layering spray, and just those two items alone are about £30 in total, something like that, 30, and it could be more depending where you shop, because they're about £15 each. And to me, that's just, you know, I just think to myself, look, I'll take the chance. I'll use PVA. Everyone else uses PVA. Everyone else is happy with PVA. I'm no static grass expert by any stretch of the imagination. You also get the instructions, how to use it, and you also get the actual unit itself. Now, like I said, I did do quite a lot of research on this, and so I'm not saying this is the best, but I watched a guy on YouTube, and he did a video on static grass applicators, and he had a range of them, from the really cheap ones to the really, really mega expensive ones, and he just put them to the test basically. And I had already used, which I think I'd mentioned previously to you guys, that I borrowed Nigel's Pico static grass applicator, which is, I think they call it the PSG one, which is like the medium one. And I borrowed that, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. So much so, I was thinking of getting one. And then I was looking into the pricing, and then I was looking at what else was available and all the rest of it. So that PSG one from Pico is about anything between £50 to £70. And then there's other ones which go up to about £200. But I bought this one. And the reason why I bought this one, there's two reasons why I bought this one. One was the cost, which was £33, which is pretty much what I wanted to pay. I didn't really want to pay that much more than that. And the other thing is also is something that this was the only seller on eBay. I got this off of eBay, and it was the only seller that I could see selling any static grass applicators that actually came with a second grid. So to me, that was important, because I wanted a mixture of static grasses, sizes, lengths. But this is the fine one, which is the one that was attached to the unit when I got it. And this is the coarser one. Usually you get the finer one with the static grass applicators, which basically limits you to about, I think it's about 4mm, I think. But this one gives you slightly longer grasses, which is why this is why I bought this one, because even the PSG one, if you know, from Pico, only came with this one. If you buy their really expensive one, which is like 130 or something like that, then I think you get two. So I'm just like, you know, I'm not going to pay an extra £60 just to pretty much get a slightly bigger one of the original one, and then get an extra grid when I can get this one for 33 quid. It came with a little bag of static grass, which I've used just as an experiment. And I also got the extra grid, which is basically the important thing for me. That was the important thing, to get the extra grid. So you've got options to have either finer static grass or some longer ones. And I wanted to experiment with the two, which is something that I really wanted to do, because I did try the longer lengths with Nigel's one, and it didn't really work that well. And this definitely works better with the coarser one. Definitely works better with the longer 6mm grass, which is, like I said, which is why I bought it. And for £33, then it came, like as you saw, it came really well packaged, and it's been working the tree. It takes 2 AA batteries, and it comes with this crocodile clip. And I'm really pleased with the results. And the other thing is I'm no expert at this by any stretch of the imagination, because I'm not. So here is some of the results that I've achieved with my static grass applicator. And like I said, I couldn't really tell you whether or not this is any good or not. It looks all right to me, and I'm happy enough with it. Like I said, I'm no expert at static grass application, but I have used a mixture of grasses and sizes and colours, and basically had a go really, and basically followed some of the steps and some of the videos that I've been seeing on YouTube to try and achieve some sort of half decent results. And to be honest, like I said, I'm pretty pleased with it. I think if you look down the line here, I think it looks really reasonable. I think it looks really nice. And again, I'm really, really pleased with it. I haven't ballasted the tracks yet, but I will be. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the results. So finally, we come to part 3 of the layout, which I call the train memorabilia. And these are all these little things that kind of accent my layout and the way I live with trains, and how much things kind of mean to you. And it all kind of adds to the atmosphere of the railway room that you might have, various things. And I was on the chat, like I said, on Alan's chat on Thursday, and Lee Wall was on the chat. And I was talking to him about having some D-stock memorabilia, and he sort of queried what I was talking about. So for you, Lee, and for everyone else who might be interested, and also I've got some other bits to show you. I'm going to show you what I have from the D-stock Underground train. So here is my D-stock London Underground train seat with cushion. This was actually found on eBay. The seat and the chair I actually made myself, and what I actually bought was the actual maquette, which was the cushion and the actual seat back and the actual seat itself. And those of you who will look at this maquette will know that it's come from a refurbished D-stock London Underground train. Now on the back side of this, it actually says the actual unit it came from. D-stock 7510. And I suspect that 5 probably denotes maybe the car. I'm not sure. But D-stock 7510, which is the image which you have just seen. So that's the underground train where this particular seat has come from, both the front and the back. And the chair I've actually made myself, and it's perfectly sturdy, and it looks absolutely ace. And it's nice because I used to live on the District line. I was between West Brompton and West Kensington, which is at the other end of the District line, and Lee actually models Upminster, which is at the terminating point at the most eastern point of the District line. Other bits of memorabilia that I have is an enamel sign, Model Railway Ahead. I picked this up, I can't remember where I actually picked this up actually. I think I've got it actually from when I went to the Class 50 event, if I remember correctly, but I might be wrong on that. Then there's one of my, I've got 4 different train mugs to show you. A bit like Robert. There's this one from the Watercress line. It's got a picture of the Thumper on it because I love the Thumper. And it's one of my favourite units to travel on when it's running. It's currently out of service at the moment on the Watercress line. But this is one of my many mugs that I got from the Watercress line. So if anyone comes here to help me operate, you'll probably get a beverage on one of these mugs. This mug, and the thing is about some of this stuff, is it actually has memories and meaning. And Danny from Southern Line, Ivor Junction I should say, came to see me, and we went to the Watercress line, and he purchased this mug for me as a gift. And I love my 450s, and he purchased this mug for me with the picture of the 450 on it, which is cool. And that provides a really nice memory of a really nice day out with Harry, his son, and Danny. So Yeah, it's a great memory, so it's nice. As well as all the other stuff, I should say, that he gave me. One of the other mugs I love is this mug with a picture of Class 50 on it, and it says on it, "I like trains more than I like most people." Never a true word spoken. And it comes with a coaster as well, and it's got, like I say, it's a picture of 50, and those of you who know, I love my 50s. And then from the old school bus, and I think Rails, my friend Rails, Dave, he's the only one who's actually drunk out of this mug. And this is like, I got this on the Watercress line, but I saw it and I had to have it. It's like a proper old school enamel mug from the steam days. And it's like, it actually says it on the back, Steam Railway Company enamel mug. And if you take it out, it's got a great saying on it. It's actually brilliant, this is. So that's what it says on the front. Respect to be shown at all times to the engine driver. And then on the back, it's got some more information. Absolutely brilliant. I just love all these little knickknacks. It makes the home more interesting. Like I said, he's the only one that's actually drunk out of this mug. Not even I've drunk out of this mug. So, Dave, if you're watching, you're very privileged. And there's also a few other bits, so let me take you off the camera to quickly show you those before we finish the video. So we have this, which is Lion, which is the nameplate for the Class 50027. Steve from Railway Laser Lines, and a good friend. I've met him on a number of occasions socially as well, and he presented me with this when we met up for a nice lunch, and that is a very good memory of that day when he gave me that. So I'm really pleased for that. So this is Lion, this is the Class 50 that's currently at the Watercress line. It's having some major work done at the moment, and they're trying to raise money for it to keep it on the rails. So thank you, Steve, for doing this for me. Really much appreciated. Also, we have a little plaque here from the Great Western Railway. This is more steam period than my period, but it just adds to the atmosphere of the living room and the layout in general. And then if you look up, you've got the Mildenhall Volmer Pelmet, which was originally what it was called, Mildenhall Volmer, until it grew into Mildenhall Districts. And then you've got kind of the Volmer container terminal. And then here we had the YouTube map. When I had Ringwood South, this layout isn't on there because this was predated that. And I am somewhere, I think I was, bear with me. Oh, here I was, yeah, here I was. I was right over here. Ringwood South, that's where I was. So I framed it and I've kept it here ever since. And again, it's a kind of like a memento of the time that we did have this network YouTube map. So this concludes the end of today's rather lengthy video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm sorry if it has been a bit long, but you can see why it was long. There's lots to talk about. And until the next time, it's Happy Easter to everybody. And like I said, we will do a lot more and get that done soon, and hopefully get everything up and running again. Oh, just before I go, something else that turned up to the layout that I forgot to mention. Somebody I've been promoting for a long time now. I don't get anything out of it, so it's not like it includes paid promotion or any of that nonsense. I'm just one of those people that if somebody delivers good customer service, then I will acknowledge them. And I've been promoting this guy for ages because he's like, I get all my signs from him. He's called Eagle One Model Rail Signs. And he has done my signage for Mildenhall Riverside. So that's the last bit. So that will be added in due course once things are all up and running. So like I said, until the next time, it's goodbye from me. And I'm sorry if it has been a pretty long video. But like I said, you can either watch it all in one go or skip it or watch what you take interest in. So until the next time, it's goodbye from Mildenhall and Districts. And thank you for joining. Bye-bye.